I was born in Germany. We came to the States when I was 6 years old in 1956. I went through school in Southern California, graduated, and decided that I wanted to go to sea. When we came to America, we didn't speak any English at all, and we came on an ocean liner, which was the cheapest way to get from Europe to America at the time. So I thought it was pretty cool. I always wondered what was on the other side. It really intrigued me, the ocean. What's on the other side of the horizon? And I signed up for the Navy. I was always interested in woodworking. I was told that there was a rating in the Navy called a pattern maker, which is like real precise woodworking. I thought, man, this would be great. I could be a woodworker and see the world. Well, unfortunately, I found out later that there was only about a dozen pattern makers in the whole Navy, and they were all guys with, 20 or 30 years in. It was a dying rate. They told me I could be a ship fitter, which is like a welder. And I thought, well, that'd be okay. That's a good trade to learn, I got on my first ship, and they said, well, we don't need any ship fitters. We do need some guys down in the forward fire room as boiler tenders. And then your fate's sealed for the next 4 years. I remember going down to the hole, we call it the hole, the fire room, for the first time. You put your foot down the hatch to climb down the ladder, and the heat would go up your pant leg and just swarm you. It was overwhelming. The worst part about it was the working conditions, I have to say. Extreme heat, dirty, had to deal with a lot of toxic, chemicals. You're covered with fuel oil, black oil we burned at the time. The heat was the worst thing though. We'd be in a warm climate, say down in the Caribbean or off the coast of Vietnam, and it was often 130 degrees down there. On my first ship, made a cruise down in the Caribbean, made another cruise to the Mediterranean. I finally got my leave approved, and I took every last minute of it. I heard that the ship was going in the shipyards for a year, and by that time, I would be getting out. I thought, man, I can go home and see my family. And I walked down the pier and I noticed that all the boiler parts were scattered all over the pier, and here were these guys working still at midnight. It was unusual for a ship that's going in the yards. I asked one of the guys there that were working there, I said, well, why are you guys still working at midnight? I thought we were going to the shipyards. They said, no, we're going to Vietnam next week. So I had exactly 1 week in San Diego, spent the next 8 months off the coast of Vietnam. It kind of honestly was kind of a blur to me, a lot of it there. Being down in the fire room, we spent actually more time underwater than the submarine guys did, because you're working down there all the time. There was a destroyer, the same class as ours, where they had a main steam line rupture, and all the guys down there got fried. I had a few experiences close to that where we had smaller steam lines rupture, and it got really exciting where everybody thought we were dead. And fortunately, we were able to get everything secured quick enough before we got burned up. That's a very exciting thing, something you don't ever forget. I started drinking alcoholically in the Navy, and I've been sober now for almost 25 years. Everybody that I served with drank alcoholically because the job was so miserable that you'd want to escape for a few hours, get drunk enough to forget it for 4 or 5 hours. I've got no regrets over my service. I wish I'd had a different job because actually I love going to sea. I really do, and I feel like I did my duty. It definitely had an impact on my life.